And in the brain stem, the healing peaks that we might see are, as you might expect, to do with those organs, those tissues, and their function. Their function, again, being eating, digesting, excreting, reproduction. And here I've got mostly digestive examples. So in the healing peak, again, it's a reflection of the stress phase, as I said earlier. And in the stress phase, our muscles are tight, they're tense. So in the reflection of that, in the healing peak, we might have that tenseness, that tightening up of the muscle in a very intense way. And hence, that's where the cramping can come from, where the muscle is just really gone into that spasm. So intestinal cramps, potentially liver cramps, liver being that most amazing organ, one of the biggest of the body, second only really to the skin, but the skin is big in surface level and surface layer, surface area, whereas the liver is our biggest solid kind of organ. It does over 500 processes for us a day. So very much an important organ, an organ that does a lot for us, and it's involved in digestion. Hence, it is under this brain relay. But there's always a purpose, again, with the stress phase to give us that energy and that ability to resolve our problem. And I talk more about that in the process of disease. If you want to know more about that, then go to that video. In the regeneration phase, those symptoms that we experience are our body getting back to balance, working their way back to our homeostasis, our base level. So they're performing a function. They're the body doing what it's designed to do. It's not going wrong or making a mistake or attacking itself. It's just doing what it's meant to do. It's only that we don't work with it. We push against it. We resist. We worry about it. And that can mean that the disease becomes chronic or that it takes us longer to heal. And in these healing peaks, again, they serve a function. They may be removing water that our body has been holding, or other processes, which I'll talk about as we get on to the different ones, because there'll be slightly different functions in each brain relay, depending on what has been happening during stress and what our body is trying to do in the regeneration phase. But the excessive urination, you can obviously see that that is where the body is removing water. And one of the symptoms of stress is that our body can tend to hold water. So if you have sudden weight gain, it may not be anything to do with how much food you've eaten. And this happened quite a lot in lockdown, because one of the things that we felt in lockdown was very isolated, cut off from our normal peer group, maybe our work colleagues, maybe our family. We felt alone and isolated. And that caused a lot of people to have water retention and to put on weight. There was a lot of talk at the time about weight gain, but a lot of that weight gain could have been due to holding water rather than, there may also have been the comfort eating, but just the body can hold water due to stress. Particularly here in the brain stem, we have a part of our kidneys which determines our water balance in our body and how much water we keep versus how much water we decide we don't need and we just excrete. And when we're feeling stressed, our body holds more for a very logical reason, because back in when we were cavemen, hunter-gatherer peoples, if we were separated from our tribe, isolated, we had less ability, less likelihood as an individual to find the resources we need, the water, the food, the shelter. If we were with our tribe, we had all those pairs of eyes, all those ears, all those noses, all of that wisdom, all shared and supporting each other within the tribe. As an individual, we don't have that. So our body holds water so that if it takes us longer to find it, we can cope better with that. So very biological reason for that, and it's related to survival. Hence it's under the brain stem. But then when we don't need that water anymore, if it was that isolation, our body was holding water and it no longer needs it, it wants to get rid of it now because it is surplus to requirement. So we end up running to the loo a lot in order to release that water.